Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 109 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jennette, the Mental Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Breden.
In this episode, we give our thoughts on the board games Super Skill Pinball 4K'd, Parley, Good Cop, Bad Cop Promoted Expansion, and Lost Ruins of Arnak, and much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever been banned from a public place? If so, why?
That was so loud. Need to turn that down. Have we ever been banned from a public place?
Do you mean we collectively? I don't think we have collectively.
Sounds like it's more of a individually. Have you been banned from anywhere before?
I have. I was banned from mini golf.
What a place
Yeah.
to be banned from. I need to hear this.
I was with a group of friends, high school friends, and the concrete on the ground is just bouncy enough that when one of my friends took one of the golf balls and just slammed it down on the ground for no reason, it shot straight up and busted a street light.
And they kicked you off?
Yeah. They saw us do it, and yeah, we were not allowed back there ever.
Did you get to finish at least, or was that the end?
No. Oh no.
That's crazy, man.
It was really dumb. Yeah.
I haven't actually been banned from somewhere, although we probably should have been at some point. There was one time we went bowling. My brother was with me, and I think my cousin and some other people. And he was like, check this out. And he took like whatever the lowest pound ball is, like the 6-pound ball.
Oh no.
And he got up where the carpeted area is behind where you wait to bowl. And he's just like, whoop, like chucked it into the air. And this thing just goes boom, 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 boom. And like just what the hell? It was, I mean, with music going on, it was still so loud.
But they didn't notice?
No one said anything. We didn't get kicked out or in trouble or anything. I mean, that should have been, you guys got to leave.
Yeah. And it didn't damage the lane?
That's
all right. Well,
probably because it was a 6-pound ball. I mean, if you used like a 12-pounder or something.
Oh my God.
There would be a hole. But no, I mean, nothing happened. Almost like it just didn't happen. Even like the lanes next to us were empty, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't really that busy. And plus a bunch of teenagers worked there, so they probably were just laughing. Now, I'm sure if we did it a bunch of times, that might have been a problem.
Yeah, you'd be out. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be out. But just that one time, it was...
That's totally worth it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How many pins did he knock down?
I don't remember. I think I was laughing and looking around too hard to remember. I mean, he did hit the pins though. It did not gutter or anything.
Yeah,
that was impressive. But it wasn't a strike because I don't remember it. I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
Well, send us your crazy stories of how you got banned to MeepleCore@gmail.com.
Yep.
I don't know. If I get a few of them, I'll read them off. That's fine. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
I might have to censor them a little bit if it's too crazy.
We'll protect the innocent.
Right. All right. Well, it's fun being weekly podcast now because we are fully caught up. This episode is an episode. If you listen to the very end of the episode during the credits, we actually say what day we recorded it on. That's just because I'm an IT guy and I like documentation. And that's kind of a way to tag it in a way. But if you've listened to like maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, we were talking about scary movies and it was like Christmas. So it's been a little crazy editing 3-hour podcast, and it's much easier and manageable to actually drop down to weekly and do smaller podcasts, like an hour and a half.
Good.
Point is though, we have some news items again because we are relevant as far as timeline, the real world time goes. All right. Well, as always, we're going to talk about a few things that we've done between episodes, and then we'll move on to some news and the games that we have to talk about. If you like board games, I'll start first real quick because I have a couple of things that I've been up to. One, I found, and you knew this, but I posted this in our little group chat, the craziest deals on clearance video games at Meijer This is insane because 3 of these games are still on the shelf for $60. They still rang up as 60, but these extra copies or whatever they chose to put on the clearance, they were in the plastic cases, you know, so I know they weren't like tampered with or anything. They rang up at these prices. I found there's a couple of PS4 games. I got Rocket Arena, which apparently is not good, but it was clearance from $10 down to 99 cents. Knack 2 was originally $13. Granted, this is one of the previously owned copies type things that they redo, but It was knocked down to $1.29.
Yeah, and that was the game that came out when the PS4 came out.
It was either Knack 2 or Knack 1 that did, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was Knack 1. I might be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uncharted, The Lost Legacy. This is the PlayStation hits. None of the rest of the games are used, by the way. Just that one. This was $20. Typically, the PlayStation hits are like the most sold games or whatever. It was knocked down to $1.99, which is crazy.
I love those games too. Yeah,
the Uncharted series is great. This one's called Solam. This is the Nintendo Switch game. This is SOLOAM. It's like a puzzle kind of anime-ish game. $25, and this was $2.50. All right, now the 3 big ones that are worth talking about, actually. Doom Eternal, which literally came out earlier this year. It's still $60, although I'm sure you can get it on sale at certain places or whatnot. But you can't get it for $17.99.
Nice.
That was crazy. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX was $60, knocked down to $5.99. You can get this on Amazon for about $50 to $55, depending on which seller. But that's still a huge knockdown. And the most impressive one, which, I mean, some people won't care about the game, but the Mario Tennis Aces was $60, knocked down to $5.99.
Oh, man.
Mario games almost never go on sale. As a matter of fact, most Nintendo games, not just like Nintendo Switch, but Nintendo published games, don't go on sale very much at all. I mean, right now you can go find Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, probably still for $60. At most, they might go down to $40. And every once in a while on Black Friday, some of their games will hit $30.
So you think this was just somebody making a mistake?
I have no idea. I actually don't know, because they had actual copies, extra copies, or a lot of copies in the glass case for this, for not that price, but for like 60 or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know if it's just like, the only thing I could think of is maybe they got some copies, and if these specific UPCs, like maybe the UPC changed, or maybe in inventory it shows that copy specifically was the oldest copy, some weird way, they just have to mark it as a clearance item. But even then, I mean, why would they mark it from $60 down to $6? Like $30. Okay, cool. I get it. Knocking it all the way down to $6 is nuts.
And you picked these games up.
Huh?
You got these games.
Yeah, I got all these games.
Did you put them in a machine? Do they work?
Oh yeah, I've played 4 of the 7.
Okay.
Yeah. I've played all 3 of the Nintendo Switch games and the Doom Eternal. The other games I haven't opened.
Okay.
But they're there. I mean, they work. I mean, I would assume the rest of them work. Hopefully they do. I still got the receipt.
Even if they don't, you got your money's worth. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. I walked out there. If you take Doom Eternal out, I only spent like $17. I spent half the money on Doom Eternal, which is the newest game out of those games. But
yeah,
that is a treasure find. Another game that I actually got that's a board game is I went to Half Price Books in Louisville to take a box of stuff to sell, like a bunch of DVDs and old Xbox 360 games that I actually had duplicates of and things like that, and some manga, like old manga from like the late 90s.
Yeah.
I ended up getting about $30 out of the box. It's like, you know, those printer boxes that comes with reams of paper in it.
Right.
It was one of those kind of like full, but not full. Like it was just like one layer of DVDs on the bottom, like stacked up to where you can see the spines. So I sold it for about $30, and I turned around and bought Magna Storm.
Oh, okay.
Which is a Euro game, I guess.
Yeah, I've actually heard good things about it. I don't have any experience playing it though.
it looks cool and I'm excited about it. So I'll go with that.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. Well, anyway, other than that, I've just been playing some of those games. And I also bought Monster Hunter Stories for the iPhone because it was on sale. It's always been $20. It's like Monster Hunter, but it's Pokemon. So you actually go and find monsters from Monster Hunter and use them like Pokemon. And I don't know, I thought it was cool, but I didn't want to spend $20 on it. It was an old DS game that they remastered or whatever onto the iOS.
Okay.
$20 seemed kind of high for the type of game because it wasn't really an interesting game to me. Yeah.
Any phone game, $20 is high.
I don't know. Like, it depends on what it is. I mean, some games, if they're like a complete port, then it could be worth it because, you know, it's $20 on the PlayStation 4. Why would it not be $20 on the phone? Which is really weird. Like, even take Among Us. Among Us is $5 on Steam, but it's free on the phones, which just blows my mind. Like, I guess you are right. People are in the mindset that if it's more than $1.99, like $1.99 is like, oh, that better be good. 99 cents, psh, whatever. I'll just buy it all the time. $1.99, got to consider it. Past that, nope, not happening.
Right.
Well, anyway, what you been up to?
Well, I have some games that I received. I didn't go out and shop for these, but they arrived in the mail. And one of them, actually, I have right here. It's called Newspeak. This was a Kickstarter it was only 2 years ago. I say only, but it seems like forever. And they just kept having updates. And after a while, I thought, you know, these guys, they're never going to come out with this game. This game's never going to get done. You know, this was a scam. And I feel bad now. I'm actually going to write these guys a letter and apologize for what I was thinking about them. But the game just showed up and I really never expected to see it. But it's here. And it's a game called Newspeak that has teams playing against each other. And it's sort of a chameleon sort of party game with sort of decrypto and code names kind of thing going on, where you have cards that have words on them. And then one team is trying to communicate amongst themselves where to go. And half of them, at least, have to arrive at a certain location together. And when they communicate where they're going to go, they use the code words on the cards that they all have a set of in order to try to, you know, let each other know where they're going. So like you could have a word like beagle and it means, you know, like indoors.
Huh.
So you're going to say, hey, did you remember to feed the dog the other night? You know, and dog is a code word, right? And like maybe night is another code word. Like dog means beagle in this case, because everyone has a card that says beagle on it. And then night would mean like, you know, drinks or something like that. So now you're looking at the board and you're like, oh, it's going to be somewhere indoors where they serve drinks, you know? But then the other team are a bunch of moderators that are trying to stop you. The theme is this dystopian society where you're trying to get together and like do computer hacking. And then there's these moderators that run the dystopia are trying to figure out where you're going to stop you. And they have things that tell them, break down all the codes, but they don't know which set of cards you're on. So to them, beagle has like 6 different meanings. So they're not sure, you know, which set it is that you're working with, and they have to figure that out. It seems super clever. I'm really happy to have it, and I can't wait to try it out.
Oh man, that sounds awesome, but it sounds like you need at least like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, I like
maybe more than
party
that.
games, and in COVID times, this is not going to happen. So
yeah, that's
so
rough. That's
it's
rough.
One I'm going to look forward to sometime.
Like,
so I got that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Kickstarters that were, you know, going on before COVID that were party games. Everybody's like, yeah. And then now they're getting their games from that. They can't play them.
It's so disappointing. So I got that one. And then I also got a game that is by Hyber Games. Newspeak, by the way, is by IBR Games. ITB Games, sorry. ITB. And I got a game from Hyber Games, which is called Soviet Kitchen Unleashed. And this uses a phone app, and all the cards have little scanning codes on them. So you just put it over your phone to scan it into your app. And you play the game with getting a bunch of cards that all have ingredients on them, and they all have different colors. So if you have some blueberries, they're actually blue, right? but then you might have some tin soldiers that are this kind of gray color. Well, anyway, you're Soviet cooks after the war and there's no food or very little food. So you're just scrounging whatever and throwing it into a meat grinder and grinding it up and making it look like food. And as long as it comes close enough in color, then you can trick the person into eating it. So you have this order that is a certain color, and then you have to play cards into your phone, and it'll combine the colors that you put in. It's like mixing paint. And then it grinds it up, and it comes out with the actual color that you created. And you have to hit certain percentages in order to fool the customers.
So is this a co-op game?
It's a co-op game. It's amazing. It is amazing. This is a game that I've been enjoying so much, and I played it with my parents and my grandmother, who she hates rules in games.
She plays another game.
She can play another game. She'd be like, just hold the card over the phone, Grandma. Okay. Just throw something in the pot, Grandma. It's okay. And it's so funny because she's at the point where she doesn't see very well. So she's like, I don't know if this is pink or if it's orange, but I'm putting it in. So then we have to kind of deal with what she throws in. It's like she's the bad cook and we have to try to scramble. Oh, it's so funny.
She's the unknowing traitor.
Yeah. It's been amazing. Yeah. It's a great game. Soviet Kitchen Unleashed.
Well, that's cool.
It's got a campaign in the app. As you do better, you unlock more challenges, and you can start off on the front lines, and then you can go to a village, and then you can get to Moscow, and eventually you could be cooking for the KGB, and you have to do really well or they're just going to kill you, It's hilarious. And you have to watch out for poisons and toxins that are on the cards as well. You can't, hit your level too high. That's clever. So
that sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to playing both of those, actually.
It'd be really good. And it came with another game called Houston, We Have a Dolphin, which we talked about before, that you're out on a space station and one of your crew is a dolphin that is trying to sabotage the space station. And then you have to send people out on missions to do things. So it's sort of like the Resistance, but it's also run by an app and has all kind of different twists. So I'm looking forward to that one. But again, it's more complicated. I'm not going to play that one with my parents. I think I'm going to wait and play it with actual gamers in person.
Gotcha.
Yep. And on the computer front, been playing so much Magicka. Kat and I have just been tearing that game up, and it's so much fun.
Have you beat it yet?
We've gotten really good at it. No, we're not that good at computer games, but we're getting better and better. So now we're out just taking on demons and other wizards and stuff, and just crazy stuff is going on. But we've kind of gotten to a point where, we're a bit stymied, but we'll get past it eventually. So
stymied meaning that you got to a spot you can't pass up, you can't get past.
Yeah, there's a spot where we have to fight 6 different kinds of wizards, one after another. And we can get past 4, maybe 5. And then it's and there's another one and there's no save or anything. We just have to start all the way over. It just gets kind of discouraging.
Oh yeah. Especially if you die.
Yeah. And then we have to start all the way over. So, one of these days we'll get past it. It's still fun to go and just blast things.
And that's 4 players, right? I think.
Yeah. You should join us and help us out.
I do have it. Eric has it too, I think, too.
Yeah, and you guys are way better at computer games than we are, so
we've been playing for a while.
It could definitely help us get past that point. Yeah, you're gonna have to join us.
All right, yeah, I'll do that. That'd be a fun. I mean, even if we play it for an hour or something.
Yeah. It's a great game.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna jump back into one thing else I've been doing. I've been playing with Stephen Gibson of Arcane Wonders. He's their art director, dude. I mean, okay. I knew him before Arcane Wonders, but he does amazing art. More importantly, though, we've been playing this game called Phasmophobia on the computer. And it's a first-person kind of game where you're walking around. You have a van that you park in front of the place that you're at, and you're like paranormal activity specialist, I guess.
Okay.
Your job is you go in with all the crazy tools and stuff to try to figure out what type of ghost is haunting this house so that the actual ghost hunters can come in and capture it or expel it or whatever they're going to do. It is freaky. It's like, it is straight up freaky.
Can the ghost kill you? Can it like,
yes.
Okay.
It'll strangle you and stuff. But it is like freaky, like not a lot happens. And that's what's freaky about it. Cause you know, waiting. You have like, yeah, cause you're just like, what's going on? And then like your heart beats like boom, 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 boom. And you just walk into this place and all you do is hear like white noise. Like, you know, it's like,
yeah, you know, something's going to happen.
They have some weird, you before the mission, it's kind of like a game where you're like in your home base and you buy all the stuff that you're going to take with you. And then you select a contract and then you just load into the game, right? Then you load into that mission, which is like, maybe there's a house that's haunted or a school or an asylum or something. I don't know why they just don't bulldoze that thing to the ground, but that's fine. And when you're there, you have like a board and it says the stuff that you need to do for your objectives, like get a picture of the ghost or take a picture of dirty water or find fingerprints, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And you get extra money for doing that. And the reason you need extra money is because if you die, you lose all the stuff that you took with you. So you want to, you know, get more money for the job, basically. Sure. And when you go in, you can only carry 3 items, and there's a walk. And there's a walk slightly faster button. There is no run. There is no running. You hold shift down to run typically in games. Right. I don't even know if it does anything, but I know it does something. That's how slightly faster you move.
Oh, that's funny.
You have this like little shoulder flashlight that basically can illuminate your hand if it's 6 inches away from your body. That's how powerful this thing is. So one of the items you can take is a flashlight. You can take salt to put on the ground. So like if the ghost can walk, you know, if it's like not a floating ghost, you can tell that because you can't see the ghost unless it goes on a hunt and tries to come after you.
Right. And then you're dead anyway, probably.
More than likely. Yeah. I mean, you got a crucifix that you can kind of, you know, shy it away or whatever, but it only has so many charges and it doesn't tell you when they're out. So
that's awesome.
The whole game is like that. You got this spirit box that you can walk around with that has like, you turn it on, it's like a radio. It's like, and it's like flipping through all the FM stations. And you actually have to hold down a button on your keyboard and speak out loud. So you can go in the room and you're like, and on the billboard, on the board in your van, it actually tells you what the ghost name is and what type of ghost they think it is. Like it only responds if you're alone, or it responds to anybody, you know, as long as there's not more than this many people in a room, things like that, right? Gives you a little bit of insight, I guess, because they know who the ghost is, you know, who's haunting it. And it might be like, you go there like, Dorothy, can you hear us? And the little thing will be like, and it's like nothing detected. But sometimes it's like, do you want us to leave? And it'll just like, death. And it's like it's so creepy, dude. And here's the thing. Funny. It's fine until your like we're just playing it with 2 players. It's fine until your partner dies and then you have to do stuff alone. Then you're like, it's no longer fun anymore. It's not a joke. Cause you walk in here and it's just incredibly creepy.
Well, what happens then? Your partner dies. Let's say you do the thing on your own. Does he get a new character?
No, they don't get a new character. You just lose the money and you get less money for winning then. So the idea is you want to, yeah, you get to keep playing. The idea is you get a contract and you go in. And this is made, we didn't know this, by one dude. One dude made this entire game. And he's basically like, well, I wasn't really going to update it, but it's done so well that I guess I have to. It's got incredibly good reviews. I think that it's an okay game. It's really fun to play. Yeah. Right. But overall, it's an okay game. There's a lot I could just destroy it with if I was doing an actual review. But knowing that it's made by a one-person team.
Yeah, that's
this
amazing.
This is highly impressive because it's not really been done either. There's no other games like this.
The experience sounds great. Yeah.
Dude, the experience is so cool. You play it 50 or 60 times, it's going to start getting to the samey area.
Sure. Yeah.
Cause there's only like 12 different types of ghosts and it's a deduction game. So you walk in.
Oh, I love that kind of thing though.
Yeah. You walk in and it talks you through the spirit box. You're like, okay, you go to your journal and you go in, there's 3 evidence fields. You fill in spirit box. Then you have to do other things like, okay, let's take the UV light and shine it on the doors and stuff like that to try to find fingerprints.
Right.
Okay, can't find anything like that. But look, I look over at you and you've got cold breath coming out, right? Like smoke. So we know there's freezing temperatures. So we set that as an evidence. And then it narrows it down. So if you find the third evidence, then you pretty much know what the thing is. You get back in your van, you choose the option of what you think it is, and you leave. And then it gives you money based on the objectives that you did.
Sure.
There's some things that you can pick up while you're in there. And then if you got it right, and then there's a modifier based on the difficulty of the stage. And then that's it. And you just do it over and over and over and over.
He could make it more complicated by adding more factors, and he could make it more complicated by having like false positives and like things could lie, basically.
Yeah. There's so many things he could do. It's only $15, so it's not really expensive anyway.
Yeah.
It seems like more of a $10 game, but I'm happy
for the experience. It would be worth it
for the unique experience and the fact that it's just so really creepy and stuff. I mean, $15, totally worth it. I would check it out. It's called Phasmophobia.
Cool. Well, you join Kat and I in Magicka. I'll join you guys in Phasmophobia. How many people can you play it with?
4.
Oh, yeah.
The problem with it, though, is I think that it gets less creepy and scarier with more people.
Yeah.
There are some stages that are bigger, like the school and the asylum and the jail, but 4 people running around, it seems like you can split off in groups of 2. And I mean, you do have to separate. Sometimes it's really weird because like the ghost will actually turn off the lights and like to talk to it, for it to talk to you, you basically have to have no lights on. So it is pitch black. And when this thing starts coming after you, like the lights are flickering and the ghost comes in and out of appearance, like in and out of like, what's it called? I can't think of the word now, like incorporeal or whatever. Like it comes out of like existence. Like it shows up.
Right.
But it's like flashing at you and stuff. And it kills you. And when you're dead, you're a ghost. And technically you're probably not supposed to speak, I guess, but.
If you see the ghost, are you pretty much going to die, or
not 100%.
Can you get away?
I mean, if there's somebody else, you're 50%, but for the most part, you can get away pretty decently. Yeah.
Okay. Even though you can't run.
Well, it depends on the ghost because some of them are fast. At that point, no. Oh, you can't run too far because it locks some of the doors behind you.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It definitely locks the doors to the building, so you can't get out. And when you're out, the ghost won't leave the building. So.
Oh man, I gotta try this.
Yeah, we'll look it up maybe tomorrow. All right, let's move on to some news items because I kind of took us over our allotment of time for that one because I forgot about it. But I got 2 things real quick. Number 1 is Pull the Pin Games has a mobile app that you can find. If you go to pullthepingames.com, you can look up their app. It's a companion app. It has stuff for their games. If you're not familiar with the games, they make Good Cop, Bad Cop and the Zorro Dice game. And I think New Salem is, I don't remember if it's out or coming out, but it's a re-implementation of it or something. That one's going to eventually make its way into it. But more importantly, though, this thing has the rules and all that stuff. But the thing I saw that I thought was neat, and the reason I'm highlighting it here, is the fact that it actually has a rewards program. So as you buy their games, you can scan in the UPCs and actually get points to claim some kind of rewards, which I'm not familiar with what rewards they've shown. I haven't really downloaded the app and looked at it. I've just got the email and stuff, but I think that's pretty cool. I think a lot more publishers should do stuff like that. I know certain publishers actually put like unique key or like kind of like purchase codes in your box. I think Days of Wonder does this, and you can register your game, but I don't know if they actually give you points for doing so or anything for claiming rewards or loyalty programs and such. But I thought that was a pretty fun idea.
That's cool. Yeah.
George has a couple of things for us.
Yeah, I was looking at Kickstarter, and there's one massive game that's getting a lot of attention, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but it's called Primal: The Awakening, and it is very similar to a certain other game that has massive like sculpts that
Kingdom
are boss
Death
monsters.
Monster?
Exactly.
I've been checking this one out. This one's not launched yet, I don't think. It launches in February or something.
No. It's got 11 days to go.
Well, I have failed that one.
Yeah, it's it's got an all-in pledge at €249, that's a lot. That's like, what, $280 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a little game, but check this one out. It looks pretty exciting because it's a co-op where you're working together as a deck builder to take on massive monsters.
And it has really cool looking monsters too. Really cool looking sculpts. I like the characters.
It does. Personally, I don't care about the sculpts, but I like the idea of the game. So
if you like the Monster Hunter theme, this game looks like Monster Hunter.
Right. Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think they ripped off some of the weapons pretty closely.
Maybe some of the monsters, too.
Yeah, the great swords they showed on the cards, there's one that has like these spikes coming off the end, like claws, and there's an iconic weapon in Monster Hunter. It's pretty close.
Yeah, well, it looks pretty sweet, though. So, yeah, check this one out for sure. And actually, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's the only real news I got.
All right, cool. So we're going to move on to some games, but real quick before we do that, if you're looking for ways to support the show, check out MeepleCore.com and click that Humble Bundle partner link in the middle in orange. Go to Humble Bundle, click on things, buy packages, and we get a little bit of kickback from that. There's a lot of cool stuff right now. I know one of them, I can't remember if it's expiring before Monday or not, but basically there's this like, collection of 3D models that you can buy the STL files and do your own 3D prints of them. And they look fantastic. There's always like D&D stuff up there. There's always obviously board game or, video game bundles, a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, anytime you buy things from here, it will also support charity. So it's always for a good cause as well. And if you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/MeepleCore and let us know what type of stuff you want to see in the rewards for that. I haven't actually put tiers up. I know I've been saying I'm going to do that, and I definitely am, especially going weekly. I think I'm going to start, maybe we can record some other things that will be Patreon exclusive. But either way, I mean, it helps us just quote unquote keep the lights on. I don't do this for the money at all, by the way.
That's good.
Anything I get into it for any kind of money from these affiliate links goes straight back into equipment. That's it. Because I like doing it. It's fun. Anyway, we're going to move on to the games that we have played recently and talk about those. We have Super Skill Pinball, 4K, Parley, Good Cop, Bad Cop, the promoted expansion, and Lost Ruins of Arnak. So the first game we have here is Super Skill Pinball 4K.
And this is a 2020 release. The designer is Jeff Engelstein. The artist is Gong Studios, and the publisher is WizKids.
Now, if you're not familiar with Super Skill Pinball, that's the actual title. This version is 4K. There's another one coming out as well. This is a roll and write game that simulates the experience of a pinball machine. Basically, you have two boards. You have one that is the actual machine, and then you have one that you put above it, which is like the back pane or backsplash or whatever that thing is called. And it's a pretty simple game. Basically, just like most roll and writes, one player, or you can pass the dice around, is going to roll two 6-sided dice. And that's obviously going to have two different numbers, or maybe two the same, but whatever. It's going to have two different outcomes. And your pinball starts at the top right of the board. So just like you shot it up by pulling the plunger or whatever the thing's called, and it shoots the ball up. And now you have an option. Say the dice were rolled as a 2 and a 5. The top zone of objects, in one of the basic boards of the game is kind of like this Ferris wheel type thing. And there is a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. The 1 and a 2 just means you need a 1 or a 2 to activate this spot. 3 and 4, then 5 and 6. So you choose a number. Say you choose the 2. You mark off that 1 and 2, and now the ball sits right there. The dice are rolled again. The ball will go down the board from zone to zone. You only get to hit one thing in each zone unless there's a special ability or something happening. So the ball is kind of traveling down, rolling down the actual machine. So now the new dice are rolled. You pick a thing. In the basic board of the game, which is like a carnival theme, there are these, you've seen them tons of times, but they're called what are they called? The thumper or,
bumpers.
Bumpers. The bumpers are the things when it hits, it goes bing, 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 bing. And then that's what it throws them all around. So one of the special ability of the bumpers is that you don't have to drop down to the zone. You can go to the next bumper. And these bumpers are in a triangle. And so you can just ping pong around in those. But just like a roll and write, you are marking off these spaces. It's just that the bumpers have multiple spaces per bumper. Eventually you will have to drop down, and then you'll hit these other things. There's, like these rubber duckies and these balloons, and each one of those are a set. And if you if you knock off all the boxes of this set, those boxes not only give you a special ability, but you also get to wipe away all those, boxes because you clear the set. Anyway, but you're only really going to hit one of those right now. Then it's going to drop down to the oh my gosh.
Flippers.
The flippers. You know what? I'm not even joking. I practice speaking the rules before I go on the podcast. I said all this perfectly beforehand. That's what we get for recording at like almost midnight. Anyway, you go down to the flipper zone, and then some of those numbers that are rolled will actually take you onto the flippers, in which you can flip the ball back up the board, or they will drop down and you'll lose your ball. So if you do flip it back up, you can go as far up as you want. You go all the way back up to the top. You choose one of those Ferris wheels to hit again, and then it goes down and down and down. You flip it back up. It basically simulates pinball pretty well.
Yes.
Which I guess we'll get to opinions in a minute. But when you lose your ball, that's the end of round 1 for you, and you just immediately go to round 2 and then flick out a new ball. The game never stops. It's not like everybody has to wait until round 1 is done. So there is variable length of time for each player, because the last player might actually play 5 or 6 rolls after that because they're still on their third ball and they haven't went out. There's a couple of other things, like sometimes when you clear the sets, you might actually activate like a multi-ball, so you get a second ball that comes into play. Works just like the first ball. The difference is when the dice are rolled, you have to assign one die to each ball. And then there's other things that when you complete the set, you can get like a skill shot, which gives you a number, and you can assign that number instead of a die roll. Last thing I'll talk about, and then we'll actually talk about our thoughts, is the ability to nudge the machine, right? So if you don't like a number that comes up, say for instance, you're in a zone and you want to hit this box that's a 6, but the only thing that are rolled is a 2 and a 5, or let's just say a 2 and a 4. Well, you can nudge the machine and change that 4 to a 6 only for you. But now you get a nudge value of 2. You can only nudge 3 times throughout the game. But anytime you nudge, the next roll that is rolled, if the difference between the 2 die is less than your nudge value, you tilt the machine and you lose your ball. So if you nudged a 3 to a 6, you have a nudge value of 3. If the next roll is like a 1 and a 4, that would work, right? It would be a 1 and a 5. 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difference of 3. Well, anyway, I think you have to be below it, because if you do a nudge of 1, yeah, if you do a nudge of 1, the only thing you can bust on basically, or tilt on, is like doubles.
And it's so funny how often that will actually happen.
Well, I guess if I'm rolling the dice, it's definitely double city. So let's start with George. Tell us some thoughts about this one, George.
Well, I have to say the theme is just on point with this. This is a roll and write. It really feels like pinball plays. It's so well integrated. Everything that you're doing just so well matches an actual pinball machine as far as I know it. And I'm not a pinball expert, but I played pinball and this really gave me the feeling. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I'd agree 100% with that.
It is very fun. I had a good time with this game. But here's the thing. It doesn't change my opinion of roll and writes. And I don't really appreciate roll and writes for the most part. And this one, although it's a fun one, it still doesn't overcome a lot of what I don't like about roll and writes. But I think you'll probably have liked this one better than I did. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit.
I like this one quite a bit. There's also like 4 different boards and they play pretty differently. We haven't gotten to those, obviously, but
yeah, that's true. I haven't experienced those others. Good point.
I don't think it's really going to change your mind. I mean, it's just I think it's going to solidify it is definitely pinball in a roll and write form.
Yeah.
If you like roll and writes, I mean, this is one you should definitely check out. If roll and writes don't do it for you, I don't necessarily think this one's going to change your mind. I think you're going to have fun with it, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh, roll and writes are great now.
Yep. That's just definitely like my experience. Exactly. This one, here's the thing. it's a roll and write. And like so many roll and writes, it is a solo experience. It is not multiplayer, really. Nothing you do impacts anybody else in any way.
Yeah. Actually, I almost would rather play it by myself.
Yeah, as a solo game, yeah. Why not?
Yeah. The thing is, like, it is really fun. It's a very good game, and I would definitely put it in my top 5 roll and write games, but I do like the other one, like some of the other ones better. Like the Lagrange roll and write one, which is called like, what's it? La Siesta? I can't remember.
Yeah, you got me.
That one's really good, but you're like drafting the dice and writing down. So like the stuff you take from each, you can, somebody going before you actually matters.
Yes, there's interactivity there.
Yeah, even game like Harvest Dice seems like there's a little bit more going on between, I don't know, there's just, which is not necessary. I mean, obviously it's a pinball game. You can't expect it to really have player interaction because I don't know of any pinball games where I'm playing against somebody.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm not saying they don't exist. There might be a pinball machine out there, but typically you're running that thing by yourself.
Right.
Either way, though, this does it phenomenally well.
It really does.
In the special abilities, like getting the extra points for like the bumpers and stuff, or getting the multi-balls out. The multi-ball is by far the coolest thing to happen. So much. One of the other boards actually has like a smaller board printed on the backsplash, so your ball can go into another area basically and ping pong or pinball around in there.
That's awesome.
Super cool. The theme is just dripping from this as far as pinball enthusiasts are concerned.
Absolutely brilliant the way they did that. It really is. But in terms of a roll and write, this one doesn't present enough of a puzzle to me. I don't get a feeling that I did something clever and that's why things are happening. It's more, I have this sort of luck and this is what's happening.
Yeah, right. I mean, even for the first 5 or 6 rolls, everybody seems to pick the same options. And then it only gets slightly different past that.
It can start diverging a
bit.
lot. Yeah, it can start diverging a lot. But I still don't feel like this is what I did. This is, my decision was so clever here. It was just, well, now I need a 3 or a 4. Did I get it? Nope.
Yeah. Which is thematic to pinball.
Yeah. Sometimes the ball just comes straight down. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. So overall, though, I mean, it gives you the feel of playing pinball. And I don't think another genre than maybe dexterity, but then it would get too much to like being pinball.
Right. Just play pinball.
Yeah, right. I don't think you can get closer to a pinball board game than you can with this.
I would agree.
It is so close.
Pinball is fun. This is fun.
Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah.
Super fun skill pinball for kid. I'll probably end up getting this one, I would assume, just because it would, number one, the components of the actual game are dry erase, which is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that because I'm a big fan of wanting to laminate all my roll and writes. Not that I have a ton of them, but the ones I do have, I'd rather just laminate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I get nervous, like, what happens if I run out of paper? I mean, do you go through trying to buy like the pad or just rebuy the game? And it's like, I don't want to rebuy the game.
Yeah. And there's a lot of erasing in this. When you fill up a bunch of spots, it resets, like the lights come back on in a pinball machine, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you either complete the set or if you finish and lose your ball, then there's other boxes that are like dashed lines, which is basically a lot of the flipper area. Yeah. All that comes back. So yeah, there's a lot of racing, and I think the dry erase helps with that.
Yeah, that was well done. It was a good decision.
All right, cool. You gonna get this one? Your grandma play
I'm not
it?
gonna get it, but I'm happy to play it anytime.
You should play a roll and write with your grandma.
I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna sit still for that, but we might. We'll give it a try. Fair.
I'll say it was so impressive that James from our group purchased it while we were playing it and then got it like a day later and showed us a picture. He's like, it came.
Yeah. And he's been having a great time with it, I hear. So
yeah. Super good game. Check it out if you haven't. And I'm going to get this one.
I think it probably is, really consider this one if you want to play solo, because in pinball, you can play for a high score. That's what you play pinball for. If you're playing solo, you're playing for a high score. That makes sense. Right. And if you're playing with a group, then if I have bad luck and I'm out of balls, I'm just sitting there waiting for you guys to finish up. And that's not the greatest. So It's more of a solo experience, I think.
That's true, but I don't think somebody's going to go on that much longer than you, but they could.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but especially with 4 players. I mean, you can play it. It only has enough components for 4, but I mean, you can have 10 people play this if you have like multiple copies.
That's true.
At that, it would be kind of irritating.
Then you're taking your chances for sure. If you're one of the first ones out, yeah.
Yeah. You just play another game.
Let's start over. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that is Super Skill Pinball 4K. And next up, we have Parley.
This is a 2017 release. This is by designer Ali Ferhat Tamour. The artist is Karim Bayat, and the publisher is Lunatic Board Games.
Parley is a strategic deduction game. I'm just going to say you got to listen to our other episodes, especially the Veiled Fate one. Anyway,
Deductive
Parley
strategery, whatever that title was.
This game is about, I guess, a bunch of, I don't know the theme. It's basically like you're a bunch of pirates that are kind of working behind the scenes for these different nations.
Right.
No one knows who you work for, but you're doing a lot of shady stuff basically to help that nation succeed or whatever.
You're sailing a fleet of corsairs around and just giving your services to whoever you like.
Yeah, pretty much. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to get one of the 6 nations. I mean, Spain or France, that era of Europe. And there's a map that has a hexagon grid over it. There's actually 20 hexes, but there's only 16 that you can actually battle over. What's going to happen is each player is going to take turns doing an action. There's only 4 actions to the game. One of them is the most common, and that is to skirmish. At all times, there is a battle card that's revealed. This battle card will show what 3 nations are attacking and what 3 nations are defending. So on your turn, you're like, oh, well, I'm on the defending team. Obviously, I don't want to tell anybody that, but I really want to win this hex. And we'll explain why here in a second. But basically, you're going to put a token on that location, and that's where the fight's going to happen. The captain, who is basically whoever's turn it is the captain, they get to choose if there's an open bid or a closed bid. When you do a closed bid, everybody takes 1 card from their hand. You have a hand of cards that you'll get more throughout the game or after each skirmish. But you're going to take one of those cards and put it in the face down pile. And then the captain will shuffle those up and reveal them. Any swords go to the attackers. There's always 1 to 3 swords and 1 to 3 shields on a card, or 1 to 3 swords on a card, or 1 to 3 shields on a card. And if there's a clear winner, then those 3 nations get to put a token. You'll grab a blue, a red, and a green and put them on that hexagon. And then you'll move them up. There's a track around the other board that shows like victory points. These aren't for each player, but obviously it'll go to the player at the end of the game once they reveal themselves. But basically, say blue, red, and green win, then you're going to move them up on that track by 1, but they get bonus points if they have 1 skirmishes that are contiguously connected to this hexagon. So if you have a whole path of 7, and this is the 8th skirmish, you're going to go up 8.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Excuse me. Anyway, there's also special cards that you can play that might say like, I abstain from the fight, so you're not contributing either way. A lot of those cards though are played more, and there's also like a reset card, like redo this match so people can burn all their high cards in that first round and then be like, oh, they didn't count. There's also close bidding where the player to the left of the captain starts first and puts a card face up. And then it goes around the board like that. So there's a way better chance of gaining information that way.
Yeah, I think that's the open bidding.
That's the open bidding, yeah.
Yeah.
There's 3 other actions that you can take, though. There's one action that's called, like, admirals. And there's, like, these 4 admiral... I can't remember if they're admirals, but I think they're called admirals.
I think so.
There's 4 tokens on the main board that are covering 4 of these hexes. They can be moved 1 time. It's like a coin. When you move it, you flip it face down. Whatever spot they're on can't be fought over. That's why I said there's 20 hexes, but only 6. Excuse me. That's why only 16 of them can be fought over. There's also 2 other actions. There's one where you can blackmail somebody. It basically, you have you have a hand of 6 cards that are blackmail cards, one for each nation. And it has your captain's picture on the back. And you can hand that to somebody and be like, George, what do you think? And you look at it and it'll say, I believe you're working for the red team, or like the French. And you can say yes or no. It has to be truthful. There's a third option though. If you say yes, you have to pay them money. You don't actually reveal it to anybody or do anything about it. Yeah. It's just depending on how many skirmishes happen, there's like a grid. So if you guess early on, you get paid more.
Right. You're paying off the blackmail.
Yeah, you're paying off the blackmail. So you give them the money. But you can only do this once per nation color. So if I go, George, I believe you're the French, and he says no, I don't get that card back. He keeps it.
Yeah.
So you can only guess who the French player is once, and then you're like, oh man.
And you can only guess on each player once. He can never guess on me again, and he can never try to guess anyone else's French. So he's really doubly lost there.
Oh yeah. And to throw a wrench in the monkey plan, or a monkey wrench in the plans, I butchered that. He can also say maybe, and then give me $2 and then put the actual amount on the card. So at the end of the game, you reveal it. If it's correct, he's got to pay me the full amount. So I would actually get $2 extra. But if it was wrong, then I don't get any of that, but I still got the $2 throughout the game. The reason you do this is kind of like a bluff, because you're like, I don't want you knowing who I am.
Yeah.
And if I do that, then it'll also throw him off on the other guesses he might make throughout the game too. The last action you can take is you can buy these privateer cards. There's one per nation, and one player can own all 6 of those, but typically as one person buys it, other people will buy the other ones. And you get 10% of the cut that nation makes at the end of the game.
Yep.
I believe from the player who actually reveals themselves as that.
From that player, yeah.
Yeah. And then you also get the same amount generated from the bank as well. So you end up getting 20%, but 10% comes from the player.
Yep.
That actually is a part of that nation. So
it's a very small swing, very small.
Yeah. After all the skirmishes have taken place, then the game will end, and then you reveal the blackmail cards, you count up all your money that you have currently, and then you get all the money from whatever nation that you reveal yourself as, and whoever has the most money is the winner. All right, George, what'd you think of this one?
This game, this is a gem. Honestly, as a hidden roll deduction game, there's just so many little clever touches to this. Every round you're involved. Every round, everybody is interested in what's happening in that particular spot. You're on one team or the other, and you can play a card. And there's just the right number of those cards in terms of attacking and defending cards. You usually have an option, but maybe sometimes you don't. And then there's also just enough of the special action cards to just throw everything off every once in a while and just have a surprise thing take place that you didn't expect. It's so well done. This thing with having the maybe when somebody says, I think you're the so-and-so, and you're, oh, maybe, that is so clever instead of just yes or no.
It's awesome.
That's so good. It's brilliant.
It's just because it could cause that snowball effect of messing them up.
Yeah.
He said he isn't green, or he maybe isn't green. Really? But you can't guess green on somebody else. And maybe you're like, oh, well, I'll guess blue on this guy. And
yes.
Oh man, it's just, it's crazy.
This game is won or lost on the blackmail. If you can figure out who the people are, the deduction really matters in this game. And
it does.
You can be very sly about it, but in the end, the truth is going to out. If you really pay attention to what people are doing, you can get the patterns of what they're doing and nail them on who they are. And that gets you money, and takes it directly from them. And it'll swing the balance of the game, and it's just so well done. I think this one is a game that is just desperately in need of a reprint because it's brilliant.
Man, I immediately looked for this game after we played it. I cannot find it anywhere. It didn't even come out that long ago.
Yeah.
It seems like they didn't publish that many copies of it. And as a matter of fact, the publisher website is gone.
Oh, no.
So if you want to play it, you can play it on Tabletop Simulator like we did.
Definitely do that.
I wish I would have wrote down the username who put this on there, but thank you so much because it is an amazing game. This is one of my Grail games at this point.
Yes.
It is absolutely phenomenal. And Oh man, it is so good. There is only one thing I would really say it's bad about the game, or at least like you could just not pay attention to, and it's that privateer cards that you could purchase.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. And the solution is to make those 20%, not 10%. They're 20% from the player and 20% from the bank. And then they actually matter.
Yeah. I mean, even in the rule book, the example shows like all five of the 6 nations in the 30-point range. That doesn't make any sense based on how the board, I mean, unless I don't know how it happened. It just didn't seem like maybe in a perfect mathematical storm.
Yeah.
Like
I
could see 1 or 2 nations getting up that high,
yes,
but not 5 of the 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
And so even 10% of that, because that ends up being like $4 from the winner and then $4 from the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have scores in like the 30 to 40 point range, that's still not a huge swing.
Right. It needs to be more. Absolutely.
Yeah. So drop that down to a realistic, like $2 to $3. And it's kind of like, I don't care.
Right. Yep.
Now, I guess if one person gets all 6, that could matter quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Don't let people do that, obviously. Yeah.
They are expensive though. It does cost money based on the round.
It costs too much for what you get. If you only get $2 or $3 at the end of the game, and then another 2 or 3 from the bank, but you've paid 6 or 7 to buy the thing, you've not done yourself any favors.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish that was reworked a little bit, but otherwise, the blackmail is fantastic.
I think
the skirmishes, like you said,
rework it, and the rest of the game is just brilliant.
Oh yeah, and I love the skirmishes because, like you said, like all 6 players, if there's 6 players, even if there's not 6, those nations are still there as a throw you off kind of nation.
Yeah,
but everyone is involved as an attacker or defender every time, and that is phenomenal.
Absolutely. And sometimes they're throwing off because they don't want you to figure out who they are. And sometimes, they are
especially if they're like open bid. You're like, oh, you dirty person.
But if you do enough open bids, people are going to reveal who they are eventually.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. It's great. It's so good.
Such a good game. I would 100% buy this if I ever seen it. No questions asked.
It needs a reprint.
It's like $300.
It desperately needs a reprint. I was reading in the comments section, there was a comment from the designer of the game himself. And he said, I'm sorry to be leaving a comment here as I'm the designer. It's a little bit not cool, but
like self-serving, like a rating comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the comment, he explains that this is a game that he played with several friends of his, and they just developed it after playing it over and over a period of 17 years.
Wow.
So this is a project of love, right? And I mean, who are we to say that the numbers are off after 17 years? But the gameplay itself is so fun. I can definitely see how they got there.
I mean, the fix is just take that part out of the game if you're house rolling it and don't worry about it. It doesn't really need to be there, but it is a cool thing because you're like, if one player ends up getting really far ahead.
Yeah, you can drag them back.
You don't know who it is, but yeah, say they're like 10 to 15 gold ahead of all the other nations. You're like, well, you're giving me a cut.
Yeah, and try not to let them do that. The other thing is they can buy their own privateer license because you don't know they're doing it. You're not supposed to know who they are. They can certainly buy their own.
That is true. And that could throw people off because they'd be like, why are you working for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat thing.
It kind of gives you a license when you buy that privateer letter of marque or whatever to go ahead and go in with somebody, and say, oh, well, I'm helping the French because clearly I bought their thing. I want them to do well. Maybe,
it gives you an excuse, even if you go for a faction that isn't doing very well, but it gives you an excuse because maybe you get on the card, you bought yellow, but you're actually blue and then you're getting paired up with them a lot. I'm just helping because yellow's winning. I'm going to get a cut.
Yeah. But in terms of the gameplay, it rolls very quickly. It's very easy to understand. The board starts to fill up and points are allotted and there's nothing that slows this game down. It's all good, really.
Yeah.
And we haven't really mentioned it in terms of comparing it to a recent Kickstarter that made $1 million that we've talked about recently on this show.
Yeah.
You mentioned it
this
obliquely
is better.
at the start as a strategic deduction game.
Yes.
Yeah. Not the first people to ever come up with that idea, as they seem to think in their Kickstarter. But honestly, this one beats that one hands down. All ends up, or whatever pirate metaphor I could think of, which I can't. It makes it
walk the plank. Yeah, this game's fantastic. I 100% suggest that you try it out if you can, especially right now since everybody's playing digitally anyway.
Do this, yeah.
Absolutely worth it.
Get 5 of your friends together, 6 if you can.
Right. If you like this game, talk about it. Get on there, comment, do stuff, man. Let's get a second edition printed out there.
Yeah.
Or at least a second printing. I don't care. I don't care if you fix anything in the game. Just if it was available, I'd be happy.
Absolutely.
So sorry to talk about a game that's not basically obtainable, but I feel like it's so good, it is worth talking about to get it back out on the market.
Yep.
That it is phenomenal. Sleeper hit. If this was a 2020 release, it would definitely be in my top 10 2020 games that we played.
Nice.
But all right, we're going to go on to the next game, but this was Parlay. Next game we have to talk about is actually an expansion, and that is Good Cop, Bad Cop Promoted.
This is a 2020 release. The designers are Brian Henk and Clayton Skank. The artist is Dwayne Biddix, and the publisher is Pull the Pin Games.
So Pull the Pin Games is kind of like a reimagining of their company. That is who they are. They publish Good Cop, Bad Cop. They publish the Zorro Dice game, and then now the new coming out, New Salem. I don't think it's out yet. Maybe it's out. I can't remember. But either way, Good Cop, Bad Cop, there's a couple expansions. This is, I believe, the third expansion called Promoted. But we're only talking about the base game with the Promoted expansion, not by using the other expansions with this. If you're not familiar with Good Cop, Bad Cop, I'll briefly explain it because it's necessary to know based on with the expansion. Anyway, each player is going to get 3 cards in front of them. This is a very quick game. It's like a 10 to 15 minute game, like a deduction kind of filler, party-ish game. But you get 3 cards in front of you, and they're going to be either crooked or honest cop cards. So we're just going to start shorten it to good cops or bad cops. If you have 2 of one, then majority rules, you're either a good cop or a bad cop. So if you have crooked, honest, crooked, you are crooked, you are a bad cop. Now, if you have the agent or the kingpin, that it means you're the leader of that team, and it doesn't matter what your other 2 cards are. On your turn, you're going to take 1 action, and then it's the next player's turn. The basic actions, the first one is to investigate another player. You're simply going to pick up one of the 3 cards in front of them, look at it in secret, put it back where it was. That's going to give you some information, but obviously you only know 1 of 3 things. You kind of need to know another one. Or at least another one. Possibly you might need that 3rd one if it's a crooked and then you look at an honest. You still don't know what they are. Anyway, there's other actions that you can equip a card or draw an equipment card. You can have 1 of those in your hand at a time. They tell you when they can play it. It's, simple action type things that you would find in every card game, right? You play this to do this thing, or you play this in a response to this, whatever. You can also draw a gun from the middle of the table if you want to shoot somebody because you might think, oh, they're on the opposite team. So your action is to pick up one of the guns. There's a limited amount of guns based on player count, and you put it in front of you. At the end of your turn, you get to aim it at somebody else or aim it at a player. And on your next turn, because obviously you can only take 1 action, the last type of action you can take in the game is a shoot action. But obviously you need a gun to do that. So if you start your turn with a gun that pointing at somebody, then you can shoot them. They reveal all their cards. Then they die. They're out of the game. Player elimination, but the game's pretty quick. If they are an agent or a kingpin, they simply take a wound. And then if they get shot again, then they die, which is the way the game ends. If the kingpin or the agent dies, that team is eliminated and the other team wins. That is where we come into the expansion called Promoted, which has pretty much 2 major things. One are these promoted cards, which we'll talk about in a second. And the other thing is these medals that you get. Instead of the game playing it once and then you're done, you have a winner team and a losing team. Now you play across a series of 5 games. And in each game, you're going to get to draw medals from a bag if you win. And these medals are worth 1 or 2 victory points. After 5 games, whoever has the most victory points from their medals is the winner. So if you play the game on the first stage or on the first round, you win, you get a medal. On your little like medal display card that you put the medals on, once you get your first, third, and fifth medal, you also get a promoted card. You get to draw, I think, 3 or 4 cards and then pick one and then discard the rest. That card is yours. It goes in front of you and it acts as an action that only you can take for the rest of the game. So it differentiates you. Maybe you become a medic, maybe you become a, like a sergeant, things like that. You have all these different abilities now that only you can do as an action, which is cool because, well, we'll talk about why I think it's cool. We're just doing the rules. But I mean, that's basically the 2 things. So the only other thing I'll mention is that on the 5th round, whoever the winning team is actually gets to draw 2 medals. And there is one more thing. Whatever team wins, the leader of that team gets to assign another medal out to another player, kind of like an MVP thing or whatever. Other than that, that's it. It comes with a stack of promoted cards that you get once you get the medals and all the medals. And so it's a pretty small expansion to a game that's pretty quick. So, George, what was your feelings? Just summarize your feelings before this expansion and then with this expansion.
Okay. Before this expansion, Good Cop, Bad Cop was a mediocre game for me. It was just, okay, I can play it. It's social deduction. I like those. I can go with this one, but it's too swingy and it relies far too heavily on getting those equipment cards. It's almost like war. If you have a better equipment card than I do, okay, you're going to win. And that's an overstatement, but it bothered me. It was too quick and too random. It didn't have enough actual deduction for me. It was, okay, I might have figured out who you are, but whether I win or not doesn't depend on that. It depends on whether you shoot me. And that totally depends on the equipment that you've got relative to the equipment I've got. And so I never was a great fan of the base game. We've talked about that before, and there have been a couple other expansions that have come out, which I don't think really addressed that either. And so I was never a big fan. This one, though, okay, now I can finally say this is the expansion that makes this game to where this is the game that I wanted it to be. If it's going to be that sort of swingy, take that action going on, which it is, that's okay. But now there's a campaign to it in the sense that the meta of the game, you play the game over and over and you learn what people are like and what they do and you know who your friends are and who your enemies are. But in this case, now there's a reason to do that because you have the medals. You have this overall victory that you're going for, and you have to keep other people from building up to be too powerful. And when you're the guy in charge of passing that medal out and you can decide who to give it to, there's a way to do that. So it just made the game that much more meaningful and strategic, and it's still fast, it's still fun, but now there's a point to it for me.
No, that's a fair point. I liked this game beforehand anyway. I was a big fan of it. I love the expansions. It would be fun to try this, promote it with the other expansions as well.
Yeah.
It'd make it a little meatier, but it's not really that bad. I mean, all the expansions that's come out hasn't added that much stuff.
No, I wouldn't.
Although it might conflict with like the latest one. What I like about Promote It is the fact that it does make this into a campaign style game. Yeah. But I mean, when you talk campaign, we're talking an hour.
Yes.
The game's already 10 to 15 minutes for the most part for about 6 players ish, and playing 5 games, which let's be honest, if you play Good Cop, Bad Cop, you're probably playing it 4 to 5 times in a row anyway.
Yeah, you really are. It's that fast and it's that quick and decisive. Yeah.
Right. So why not add some fun to it? And what I really like about it is those promoted cards, right? Because now you're like, oh man, I'm really excited this guy's on my team because he has that promoted card. And then next turn, you're like, oh man, he's not on my team anymore, and he has that promoted card.
Right.
So it's just really interesting how it works out. It's not like one team gets stronger and stronger and stronger.
That's very true. Yes.
Because the players are always on different teams each round.
It depends what 3 cards you get in front of you and what 3 cards this other person has. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very cool. All the promoted cards themselves, I think, were really good. Even if some of them seem too powerful or like stronger than others, it didn't really pan out that way while we were playing it. So I think they're pretty balanced overall.
Yeah, because you can gang up on the people that you think are too tough. You really can.
Yeah. And then if they're on your team, then cool. I don't need to gang up on them.
Well, you still kind of do because you don't want them getting the medal.
I mean, that's true. But I mean, would you sacrifice not winning? You know what I mean?
No, you don't want to go that far, but you wouldn't mind losing a couple people.
But it's just really cool. It's a really fun experience. I like the fact that you actually get 2 medals at the last round, kind of like that game show scoring. Because if you lost, like the 4th round, or so you won the 4th round, you're winning, right?
Yeah, you can still come back.
You can come back with the draw of 2 medals.
Yep.
It's such a good, I almost think this should be built into the game at this point.
Oh, it definitely should. It saved the game as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely.
Like the other expansions are fun. They're really cool to have, but I could play Good Cop, Bad Cop base game without those expansions and still enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
This I feel like should just be included in the game. That's how good it is.
Yeah.
And then just make it a variant, or not a variant, but like an option. Like if you want to play one game, cool. If you want to spice it up, add this module type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so superior to me. This is the expansion that just elevates this game for sure.
That's fair. It's good to hear though, because I'm glad you like it more.
I do. Yeah. No, I'd like to play it.
Yeah. And if you got the deluxe version, there's actually like wooden cutout boards that you slot the medals in. Look, really cool, fancy production. I'm just mostly excited that the box is big enough to hold everything that I own. So, and they're sleeved. So super props.
Surprised myself just now, just talking about the game. Now I'm thinking I'd like to play it right now.
Yeah. Now, I will say that I did receive a review copy of this game, but it never skews my actual outcome and what I think of the game.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I bought all the rest of it myself. So I was going to buy this anyway. They just reached out to me and was like, hey man. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So super, super props to them. I think this is a very, very awesome expansion. Definitely like a third time is the charm type of expansion.
Yep.
Even though the other 2 are great, I would definitely buy those if you don't have them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. It's really, really good. It's amplified a game I already like so much. So
yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. Anyway, that is Good Cop, Bad Cop, the promoted expansion. And the last game we have on this podcast to talk about is Lost Ruins of Arnak, or Arnak.
Yes, and it is a 2020 release. It is designed by Elwin and Min. And the artists, speaking of pronunciation, Arnak or Arnak, we have, and forgive me, looks like Jiri Kus, Andrzej Hirdina, Jacob Pulitzer, František Sedlacek, and Milan Vavron. That's what I'm going with. And the publisher is Czech Games Edition.
I think you did pretty well. Now, full disclaimer, we did receive a review copy of this game, but we also played it online too. So best of both worlds. Lost Ruins of Arnak is a game that you are trying to basically score points by playing your different cards that you have in your hand and, basically exploring the land of Arnak, getting different locations explored, doing research, buying artifacts and things or finding artifacts or whatnot. So the game is kind of like a deck builder in a sense, because you do start off with a deck of cards that you draw so many of. And on your turn, the difference between this and a normal deck builder is you're not going to play all the cards from your hand. You simply take one action. And an action could be to play a card from your hand and do the main ability on that card. Every card can also be spent as a movement symbol. There's like walking and cars and boats and an airplane, which is kind of a wild. and you'll need those to explore out into the land. But otherwise, you're just going to play one card or do one action. You've got these 2 assistants that you'll place out on the board if you want to do that. There's a research track that you can move your magnifying glass and your book up. As you move up that track, you're basically spending resources and claiming whatever the reward is on that. Once you get high enough, there's a way to basically dump resources to buy points, essentially. There's also some bonus tiles on those that you'll get, like a first come first serve thing. But other than that, there's also this land of Arnak off to the left that has spots for new discoveries. So at the beginning of the game, you only have like these 5 or 6, I think it's 5 basic camp locations that you can put your assistant on, and that's going to give you resources. And there's only a couple of different resources. There's like gold, there's compasses, there's arrowheads, stone tablets, and rubies, or I think they call them jewels. You can put a guy there. You have to spend a movement to get there, right? So those only require walking, which is the lowest of the movement icons, and you'll get some resources. If you want to go further into the land, you actually have to spend like boats or cars to get up there, and you also have to spend compasses for exploration, right? And when this happens, you actually draw a site from the stack, depending on if it's a level 1 site or a level 2, how deep into the area you are. You'll flip those cards over. They're actually like tiles. You'll flip those over, and then a guardian actually gets placed on top of it. And the guardian, there's not really combat in this game. It's basically just, one of the actions is to fight the guardian, and you're going to spend resources to kill it. But it goes in front of you and it gives you a reward for doing so. And also at the end of the game, it's 5 points. So it's worth doing. And if you end the round with one of your guys on a site that still has a guardian, you have to draw a fear card, and fear cards clog up your hand, just like most deck builders, but it also gives you negative points at the end of the game. So you don't want those. Other than that, there are cards you can buy. There's a row at the top that has all these cards. That is also kind of indicative to what round it is in the game. The game will go on for 5 rounds, and the way a round ends is I do an action, George does an action, Eric does an action, we go round and round and round. If you pass, you're out for the rest of the round, and you have to wait for everybody else to finish. Once everybody has finished, the round ends, there's some cleanup stuff, and then you move the staff 1 space to the right. So I think there's 7 cards at the top. The right 6 of them, the ones that are on the right of the staff, are items, and the one on the left is an artifact. As the game goes on and that staff moves to the right, now you're going to have more artifacts and less items. And you need gold to buy the items. You need compasses to buy the artifacts. And these things kind of do 2 different things. One is when you buy an item, it kind of goes on the bottom of your deck. Unlike most deck builders, you don't have a discard pile. The cards that you purchase go on the bottom of your deck. And then artifacts actually go straight into play and you get their effect, but then they get shuffled in. So at the end of the round, you actually shuffle all the cards that you played that round, put those on the bottom of your deck. So your deck ends up being, when it's a fresh deck for the next round, it ends up being cards you haven't drawn, cards that you purchased during that last round, and then the cards that you played during the last round, those are random. And then you draw like the 5 cards or whatever you draw, and you play another round. You keep playing until the end of the 5th round, and then you count up a bunch of points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. What'd you think of this one, George?
This game, this is, for me, like the Euro game of the year. If you want to call it a Euro. I guess it would be. I'm not sure. The only reason I can think of not to call it a Euro is because there's a bit of randomness in terms of the exploration and what kinds of monsters you come up against. But there's not random in terms of fighting them. You either have the resources or you don't. You don't roll dice or anything. So, it has a lot of Euro mechanisms in it with the deck building, which I love the way that works. As you were describing, take the new cards and put them to where you get access to them sooner than you would otherwise.
It's definitely a fresh take on the deck building stuff.
Yes, having no discard pile. That's a different thing. And then going up this research track on the side, that's it's just can you get the things that you need to pay to move up? So it's resource conversion straight up. And
real quick, I forgot to mention that as you're going up the research track, you can also get assistants that are basically cards that you can play, but they stay out in front of you. So you just exhaust them to gain their ability. Some of them are in action, some of them aren't. And those can be upgraded, which they flip over, and you can use their upgraded abilities. Like maybe at first they only give you a compass, but then now they give you 2 compasses or whatever.
Oh, right. Yep. I remember
so the
these.
assistants were cool. And I also forgot to mention another cool thing, which I really like about the game, is the fact that when you go explore new sites, you get those idol tokens, and those idol tokens will give you like a small bonus when you collect them. Then you flip them face down, and they're worth points at the end of the game. But you have these 4 slots, I think it's 4, that you can put an idol into it and then do one of these 5 or 6 special actions.
Oh, right.
Maybe get resources that you needed, or, draw an extra card, whatever. Yeah. But the problem with doing that is each of those spots are worth points if they don't have an idol in it. So do you want the points plus your idol or just the idol?
Yes.
And it gets kind of costly to fill in the last one. But man, it's so cool because you're like, I'll eat 3 points just to get this thing done.
And then you're going to regret it later.
Yeah.
But it is nice because it gives you ways to get things accomplished. And this game has the sort of Everdell feel, to mention another game that I love, where you start with just a couple of workers that can only do a couple of things. But then by the end, you're taking these really long turns because your cards let you do things over and over and different things. And now you have 3 workers, I think. And usually by the end of the game, it builds so that the length of the game at the end, your turns are quite long, but you feel like you're doing so much. It has this great arc.
Yeah, this game has that same thing where each round is compounding on what you're already having because you have so much more cooler things to do.
Yeah, those artifact cards let you combo these crazy results, and it feels, like I have this overpowered artifact card, but it's okay because you have an overpowered artifact card too.
Sometimes they do seem really powerful, but then once you get the artifact cards, they actually, and then they start getting shuffled into your hand later rounds. They cost a tablet to actually play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
It is so worth it because a lot of them are really good, and some of them will just buy an item outright, or explore with dramatically reduced cost.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff going on. I really like this game. If you listen to our podcast, you'll know that last episode I had this at number 2 of my top 2020 games, top 10 2020 games.
Yes.
And I think, wasn't it on your list as well?
Yeah, it was. It was on my list, and it was fairly high. I don't remember what number it was, but it was maybe number 3 or something like that.
Yeah, it is. And that's coming from somebody
from me. Yeah.
Who gets subjected to many, many euros. And usually it's like, why are you doing this to me?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's the high. I was about to say this. This is the highest praise I can give this game, is that this game for €1 for me, it's all about getting resources, converting them into other things. It should be dry as dirt. And yet it's not, because it's beautiful. The art draws me into this game so completely. And it's just butter smooth. Like what you do, you take a turn, you do your thing, you move on to the next guy, and you combo things together. I'm not sitting there wondering about what I'm doing. I'm not sitting there fretting about what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I just need to get these things and put them together. And there's ways to get the things when I need them. And it just is satisfying.
And it just feels like when it's your turn, you're like, bam, your turn. And then you do something, even though it doesn't seem like you're doing a whole lot on one turn, one action, it's your turn again, really fast after that. And I would assume it's even faster because I haven't played it less than 4 players. Every time we've had 4 players, I will say physically, this game is amazing. I mean, the components are great. I've never seen the
physical game. So
dude, it's so good. The arrowheads and the storm tablets are really cool. The rubies are cool too, because they're like a custom thing, and they're flat, so they stay sitting down.
Oh, that's nice.
They're not like just those typical red crystal things you can buy that are in every game. Or they're at Hobby Lobby.
Right.
They're actually like their own custom little cutout.
Okay, cool.
Super cool. I mean, the card quality is good, obviously, and dude, it's a full package.
Gorgeous. The art is gorgeous in this game.
You know, speaking of the art, I really like the fact that some of the Guardians that come out, the ways that you actually built them is kind of built into the card as well. There's like a giant bird that requires you to spend a ruby to kill, but the ruby is like in its chest. You know, it's just, I thought that was clever.
That's nice. Yeah.
Not necessary, but it's neat.
I like that kind of stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's something else I'm going to say about this game is that I've heard people say, not that I've played it a bunch of times, but I've heard people who have played it a bunch of times say that there's different ways to get your points. It's a point salad kind of a thing, which I typically don't like as well. But in this one, you don't have to pick a path and go with it. Like you can get your points in various ways and they're all viable.
Yeah.
So
I will say I'm kind of concerned on playing this a couple of dozen times. Like maybe at that point you're kind of just doing the same thing again. But I mean, isn't that kind of like most Euros anyway?
Yeah, right. Like you would think.
I guess the difference is in most Euros, maybe it has a different board layout and things like that. I mean, there is another side to the board. I will say that the research track is slightly different. And I think maybe the locations to go to them cost different exploration token, not exploration tokens, but the movement things. I can't remember exactly.
The starting locations, yeah.
But the research track is definitely different. There's even a slot on it that you put out assistants and you draft from those once you get there, like first come, first serve type of thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a cool way to spice it up. But obviously, unlike other Euros, the game isn't set up in the very beginning. It's set as you play it. So as you would discover new sites, you know, those sites come out, which I thought was a really cool thing because if you're the person that explores a site, the site comes out, you get all the stuff from it. And then you have first dibs at fighting the Guardian, but then you leave there and the next turn somebody's like, it's maybe because the first player token changes each round.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to take that spot. It's like, man, I did all that work.
They have exactly what they need to fight that Guardian. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's just neat because, you know, you took all that time to explore the site and then somebody else next round can just take it.
Yeah.
It seems like kind of like jerkish in a way, but at the same time, it actually really works well. I like that part of it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I worried about. I was going to ask you about that because it does seem like you say you're taking a risk and it might not pay off for you. It might pay off for the next guy, you know?
That is true. It could. Yeah. It'd be kind of neat to see some kind of like ownership bonus because you are playing like, I think if I remember the theme, I believe you're like a different expedition groups competing to explore this land.
Yeah.
So maybe if you set up camp in a new spot, you know, much like games like Lords of Waterdeep, like if somebody goes there, you kind of get an owner bonus.
Right. Exactly. That would work really well. Yeah.
Something real simple, but
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I say that, but in the times I have played this game, I don't ever think that as I'm playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, you took that. You should give me money. Yeah. Because typically it's like, I did that. I got what I needed. And now I got to go somewhere else to do stuff. Or next round, it's like, I don't even really need that site now.
Right.
There's only a few sites where you're like, this has to be taken every round because it's so good. Not that they're not good, but you know what I mean? They're some of them are more situational. Like who needs like 3 tablets?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Especially if I'm not collecting artifacts.
This is a game that has some scope for expansions.
Yes.
So like you were saying, maybe have camps that you put out and you get bonuses for it or whatever, but they could have different monsters. They could have monsters that operate differently.
Man, I would even buy another board. They just came out with another board that had like other stuff going on. Maybe even like, I don't know. Maybe that's probably not a lot to change because really the research track is the only thing that can dramatically change. The sites really kind of whatever.
I don't know. I bet you could make a board that had different requirements and different, you know, there's a lot they could do, I honestly think.
Yeah, I mean, I just meant the board itself, but I mean, yeah, if you had other components for sure, like you can even have like tier 3 sites or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is a game I think time will tell. Will it still be like top of people's list in 5 years? I don't know. I'm excited for it right now. So
I am too. This is another winner from CGE for me.
Yeah. Fantastic company making great games, and this is another one. So
absolutely, and
very excited about it.
I'm not going to say that all their games are great. I'm not a big fan of Adrenaline. personally.
Oh, blasphemy! It's so good.
But I do love, Dungeon Pets, for example, And
I haven't played it, but we just started a game on Board Game Arena.
So we'll check that out. All right. Well, I'm glad you're finally experiencing it. But this one doesn't rise to that level for me, but it does sort of hit the same notes. Like, it is the same quality of a Euro. It's really well done. And from 2 new designers as well.
Oh, I didn't know they're new. Yeah, if this is a new designer, good job. That's awesome.
These are first-time designers, as far as I know. They're they worked together and put this together and pitched it to CGE and everything. As far as I know, this is all they've done.
Either way, fantastic game, especially if this is a first design. I mean,
oh yeah,
this is something to look forward to.
Here's the thing:
more games come out by these.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Do some more. Actually, do an expansion to this first. But here's the thing: so many people, in the comments and reading about the game, you see people say, "Oh, it's a good game, but it doesn't do anything new." Have you seen those comments?
You don't have to do anything new to add new,
when you
combinations of things.
Yeah, when you do what you do this well, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if it's brand new? Come on. This is a fantastic game.
I will say, though, I mean, maybe there is, but what other deck builder is done this way, though? Where you take one action each turn, and the way the deck is, where you don't have like we were talking about, you don't have a discard pile. As you buy new cards, they go on the bottom, or some cards come straight out. I mean, just that combination of stuff. I mean, that's fresh. I mean, first off, okay, these same people that are saying this probably have 97 deck builders, and all those deck builders are basically not doing anything new. So what are you even talking about?
I think you're right. I think they're saying that because they say, look, it's a deck builder. That's not new.
Yeah.
That's their reasoning. Yeah.
My thing is, it has deck building in it. I don't consider this a deck builder.
You don't go through your deck that many times, really.
No, I consider this like a resource management game.
Yeah.
Where you're just trying to manage your resources, trade them in for new resources, and then use those as efficiently as possible to move up on tracks. Yeah. I mean, the deck building is so little to this game. It's just, since it's done so well and so different, that's why we talked about it so much.
Yeah, this has more in common with Everdell than it does with Clank.
That's fair. I would say that.
Yeah.
I always compare it to like Imperial Settlers style of thing. We're like, on this turn, my action, grab 2 of these. Yeah. Next action, spin 1 of these. It sounds boring, but it's absolutely fantastic.
It's really fun.
And I agree, expansion time. So, all right, we done here? Anything else?
I think it's good.
All right, that is Lost Ruins of Arnak. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this episode up. We're staying on time this time. Hopefully, I put a poll out there on Instagram, on our MeepleCore Instagram, asking if you would rather have a bi-weekly or weekly show, like a weekly shorter show or a bi-weekly longer show. So far, I think it's, it doesn't have that many votes because we're not that popular on social media. We have good downloads, but I don't think anybody just reads our Twitter. For some reason. I don't know.
I don't.
Instagram's way more popular, but you can't really do polls there. So anyway, people said shorter, weekly.
Oh, good.
And that's what we're doing.
That's
so
what we planned on. So that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to work out.
Yep, me too. Anyway, we want to thank you again for tuning into episode 109 of the MeepleCore podcast. This episode was recorded on January 21st, 2021. Send us questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore. Once I get around to reloading all our COVID archive. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.